I just don't want to spend more money for a multi-billion-dollar company. So we're looking at probably at least 30 million players that are still playing on last gen's hardware. What are they going to do? Hey folks, welcome back to Gaming Garbage, where gaming is garbage because we just found out that Xbox is raising prices again. So, I can't believe this. I really can't believe this. So yeah, basically the Series S 512 is going up to 500. The Series 1 terabyte is going up to 6. The Series X digital is 750, and the Series X disk drive is 8. And the 2 terabyte model is being discontinued. This one, which you can still technically buy, but probably not for very long. The reason? Market conditions are favorite. They pull for AI demand, and it's still going to go up. And then, yeah, once a budget-friendly option, the Series S, it does. It looks ridiculous. It's the same as the Switch 2. They're going to be in September. And these are just increases from the previous prices. Now, the thing that I want to reiterate, as I did in a bit a while back, is what Arsha said. We plan for a holiday of 2027, taking us over 5x the price we paid only 2 years earlier. Because, yeah, she stated that it doubled between the fall of 25 to February of 26, doubled again between February and June, and then it's going to more than quadruple by holiday of 2027. So, and this is what they're seeing. And this is not just, of course, storage prices. This is also RAM too. RAM is not as much, but it's kind of following the same trajectory, which is disgusting. But yeah, you can buy this if you wish. It is technically on GameStop if you wish. And yeah, the trade-in value is, of course, garbage. But this is actually the best trade-in value of any console right now, including PlayStation. Though the Pro, I think, is around $400 or like $440, which still is garbage. I was curious too, the ROG Ally, they have not gone up in price, but I think it would be pretty easy to assume that this will go up in price too. I was also curious as well how many players for PlayStation 4 are there, and still kind of low tens of millions as a guess. And PlayStation has reiterated that too as of last year, that they still have tens of millions of players that are still playing out of their 130 million player base. And yeah, how are they going to shift over ultimately? I mean, the price for a base PlayStation is now $650, and that's a heck of a lot of money. And the current trade-in value right now for the PlayStation 4 is $50, at least at GameStop. Xbox One, again, this is rough estimate, around 6 million are still on Xbox One. So the same thing for them. So we're looking at probably at least 30 million players that are still playing on last gen's hardware, which is not going to be supported when probably the Helix comes out or the PlayStation 6. And what are they going to do? Because they maybe don't spend a lot of money, but they still spend some. Well, if they're completely priced out of the ecosystem, 30 million people, well, that's also 30 million that are no longer spending in those ecosystems, which is less revenue for PlayStation and Xbox. I was curious. I am a numbers guy. I really like doing this. It's boring for most people, but I just kind of wanted to see what the increase actually was for each platform. So I'll kind of break these up a little bit. So yeah, for Switch 1, we're now at $340 instead of $300, which was the launch price. That's a 13.3% increase. Switch 2 is now going to be $500 starting on September 1st for just about everybody instead of $450. That's 11.1% increase in less than a year, which is freaking wild. The Japanese version is now $375 instead of roughly $310 in USD, which is a 21% increase. And then, yeah, week over week, they saw an 87% drop in sales. Pretty crazy. PlayStation 5, the base model, we're now at $650 instead of $500 launch price, which is a 30% increase. The Slim, which is now the digital edition. If you want a whole breakdown of all of that, I have a couple of articles I'll actually link down below talking about the transition. But yeah, we're looking now at the Slim was initially $400 and now it's $600, which is a 50% increase with no disk drive. Also, the PlayStation 5 Pro from $700 now to $900 is a 28.6% increase. since launch. Steam Machine was initially targeted around $750, but now it has to be $1,049, which is a 39.9% increase from what they were anticipating. And then the most disgusting stuff is the Xbox Series S is going from 300 at launch to 500 for a 66.6% increase, and the Series X is going from 500 to now $800, which is a 60% increase. So they're having the biggest increases, but no matter how you slice it, the diskless versions, they're increasing the most. Whether it's the PlayStation Slim, that was 50%, whether it's the Steam Machine, that was roughly 40%, and whether it's the Series S, that's 66.6%. Gow! And those are supposed to be the more cheaper, affordable options. So the cheaper options are really just getting up to the better utility options in the gaming space. And of course, we could go through, GPUs, and if you know more about it, comment down below, please. Thank you for sharing with all of us. But it's just kind of insane. And again, I don't expect these to stay the same price. And two, if Microsoft is increasing the price and also getting rid of the 2 terabyte model, this is horrific. What are people going to do? I don't know. But anyway, that's the freaking news. And I'm not happy about it. Because again, you just look at these prices and frick. And again, I had a poll. Let me pull it up. So I had a question: Steam Machine, for $1,049, are we buying? And sticking with current hardware is where people are at. And then 20% split on purpose. I think, you guys like to just keep it roughly the same as much as you can. But the majority are sticking with current hardware. 40%, that's a lot. That means they're not going to buy. They're not going to maybe be able to get priced out a little bit, whatever. This also means that the stuff going forward with next hardware, with better stuff coming out in the future, probably even into the 2030s as this continues to happen, is that people just aren't going to buy it. So the poll is no longer going to be, hey, newer, shinier stuff, come buy it and stay in our ecosystem. It's now going to be meeting where players are, which is what I've talked about with with Game Pass, no longer focusing on just the hardware, being able to play wherever you are, whatever you have. And that is nice. That is available. It is technically a cheaper option, but that's also a subscription too, which we know in the grand scheme of things long term is not cheaper. This was a couple months ago that I had, again, only 11 votes for this one. But, these were the options that I had, and 36% said sticking with current hardware, and 36% said going back to retro. That's 72%. Going gaming services, not a popular option. Again, people want to at least own their hardware. But for some people, that's not going to be an option anymore. And then, with the current cost of consoles and PC, what are we doing with next gen and Series 600 cards? Buying right away. And that's kind of the idea, too. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to buy right away, and then I'm going to be just like everyone else and just kind of sit on what I got. Because that's going to be it. So this is kind of looking at the current market with what's happening, and yeah, it's not good. It's not good for the future projection of revenues. And while it will technically be more revenue because of inflation, I have a video of the new floor that will be at the end screen. The new floor is just going to force people to just stick with the options that they have or go to an option they don't like but can afford. And that might be, again, more revenues for companies, but that's not going to be bigger profits. I don't think that's necessarily good. Oh, we also found out too that GTA is going to be like $80, $100. I'm going to wait for a sale personally because I just don't want to spend more money for a multi-billion-dollar company like Take-Two Interactive. No thanks. They're better off than I am. I'll wait. So with that, folks, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next one.